everyone, this is Joy Nelson, and I want to thank everybody for being so patient and waiting for my video for the Gather Together window card that is in the group of PDFs from the August Global Share Fair, because I had a very significant car accident and it's taken me a while to kind of get over my injuries and get my strength back. So I just want to thank everyone for being patient and waiting so long to get this this video. So let me get started. This is the card that we're going to make, and it creates a little window, as you can see. We are going to be using the Stacked Stone background stamp. I'm using the wood-mounted one, and the Gather Together stamp set along with the Gathered Leaves dies. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to take a second and see if I can make it to that page and see if there just happens to be anyone who happens to be listening while I am making this video. So let's see if I can get this going. Oh, come on. There we go. Maybe we could, if I make it bigger. It looks like 2 of you are on. So maybe you can, now you're going to be hearing an echo. I'm so sorry about that. Let's turn this, okay, turn this off. Come on. Technology works great until, yeah. So anyway, so if you're on with me, go ahead and say hello. And I am going to get started. Stick that over there. Open this background stamp and bring out my Sahara Sand ink pad. So if you want to know the measurements, I will put some of them in the description, and then it will be in the PDF that you got from your demonstrator with the qualifying order. So first off, we're going to ink this really good with the Sahara Sand. And I'm going to bring in a card base. Where did it? Okay, here it is. Bring in a card base. And I'm going to fold it in half. Use my bone folder here, nice crease. Lay it on my background stamp. It works best with the background stamps if you lay your paper on to the stamp. Get a scratch piece of paper here, lay it on top, give it a nice good rub. If you happen to see any blue tinges on my fingernails, I apologize. I was working with some nice, lovely Pacific Point ink earlier, and it kind of stained my fingers. Let's take that off. Oh, that is a wonderful background. So, anyway, there we go. I'm going to try to follow the directions that I gave you in the PDF. So now that we've got that inked, we are going to trim off 2 3/4 inches or 7 centimeters from the bottom, and then we are going to take that piece and cut it down to 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimeters. So again, if you just happen to be watching with me, just, say a little quick hi even if you're on the replay, I will come back and check those. So we don't need the middle piece. We're going to set that aside. Maybe we'll find a use for it on another project, maybe not. And now we are going to take the wheat, the stamp that looks like wheat, and our crushed curry ink. Get a little scratch piece of paper here so I can keep my work surface a little bit neat for you guys while you're watching. And there we go. All right, so one of them is going to be stamped on here about so. And then the next one is going to come down without re-inking it. We're going to do a little bit different heights on this. There we go. There is our background for our leaves that we're going to put later on our card. I'll bring my finished sample back in so you can see it. Next, we are going to take some really thin pieces of our gold foil. I like to use up all the little pieces of my gold foil, so this is a good one for scrap strips. And I have cut it at 3/8 of an inch, or let's see, probably, well, you can figure that out. It's just very, very thin strip. Use my multi-purpose glue. Put just a really thin strip along here. And then I'm going to attach this. It's the same width as my card base. So that it gives it just a little extra. We're going to do the same thing on this piece that we kept after we trimmed. Put the cap back on that. I think you just heard something fall over, but we're not going to pay attention to that right now. Again, just a little bit showing on the edge there. Try to make it even. So here we have that part of our card base going. So what is my next instruction? Let me take a look here. Again, I'm trying to follow the instructions that I gave you in the PDF. So I have taken a piece of Very Vanilla and I've cut it just slightly less than the inside of my card here. I'm going to fold this down, put this here, and I'll mark this with a light pencil mark here and here, so I know where to stamp the wheat sheaf of my inside of my card that I want peeking through the window. And I'm going to ink that up. We don't want it full strength because we want to stamp on top of it. So we're going to take that, do it all the way over on the edge. close up my ink pad so I don't get my fingers too inky. And then I'm going to take my, well, let's see, let's keep bringing this one back in so you can reference it. My finished one, I'm going to take the cherry cobbler, which I forgot to get that, so I'm going to just grab that really fast out of my craft room. So I hope you can still hear me. I'll talk a little louder so you can. Now I'm back really fast. Get the cherry cobbler out of my craft area. Use my Season of Thanks stamp out of this set and just stamp that full strength right on the top. Oh, that looks great. I'll set some of these that I've used aside so that I don't get them back in. Now I want to do these little pumpkins out of this set using the Cajun Craze ink. And again, I want to stamp off. I think I'm going to stamp off twice on this one because it's a little bit darker. Bring this back in. Go about here. Stamp it, give it nice even pressure. And now I am ready for my last stamp on the inside, which is also from the set and says, "May this season bring you smiles and love that will last all year." So Blackberry Bliss is the color I'm using for this one. A stamp on top of it, but down a little bit, kind of centered-ish. And there we go. So the inside is done. All I have to do is take my pencil eraser and erase those two little pencil marks. We don't want to leave those in the inside. All right. Now we are going to, let's see. I think I stamped my one of my leaves, the large leaf here, and I'm going to save time, I've already stamped and cut out those leaves for the front. So you can look at the PDF to see where to do that. I did stamp Early Espresso on the cherry cobbler paper because cherry cobbler ink did not show very well. Take my Stampin' Seal, put some of that on the back side of the inside of my card. And I want to make sure that it goes all the way to the bottom and covers the full inside of this card base. So that works. Now we want our window sheet, which if you've ever used the Stampin' Up! Window sheet, it's really great. It's nice, it's thick, it holds up really well. So we're going to take our Stampin' Seal Plus. You notice there's a lighter color of blue for the Stampin' Seal and a darker blue for the Stampin' Seal Plus. And we want to get a lot of really good adhesive on this card front so that it stays together well. Okay, I'm going to lay that on top. Make sure it's really even. Fold that down. That'll give it a nice stick. As you can see, it's stuck really good. So we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing for the bottom part of our window on this card. You want to make sure that this gold is going up towards the middle of your card. This one just gets attached right to the bottom of that window sheet. So there you go. That looks really good. Now I'm going to bring in the my leaves that I've already done, but first I'm going to show you just a little trick with the die. These leaf dies, if you'll notice, they not only do they cut, they have an embossing part. So I'm going to bring this middle one out for my crushed curry, and I have a scrap piece of crushed curry. Bring out my Stampin' Right crushed curry marker. And I am going to use the flat part of this brush tip. You don't want to go down to the point because you'll ruin the points of your markers. So you want to use the flat part of it and get it covered with the ink from your Stampin' Right marker. The Stampin' Right markers are the ones that are water-based versus the Stampin' Blends, which are alcohol. But these are the Stampin' Right water-based ones. That, and I would make my sandwich for my die cut. Get your base and your cutting plate. Put this right on top. Put the other cutting plate on top and then run it through your die cut just like you would normally. And you will get these wonderful leaves that have an embossed section that also is colored because you used your Stampin' Right marker directly onto your embossing die. So I used the markers that coordinated and matched the cardstocks that I used. The Blackberry Bliss, Cajun Craze, and Crushed Curry. So I also have taken and pre-tied a bow of the gold edged ribbon, which has a very vanilla base with a gold edge. So I pre-tied one for that so you don't have to watch me try to tie and have my fingers get very nervous. So I'm going to start attaching these leaves. I'm also going to be using the black Stampin' Dimensionals because with the dark cardstock, the black tends to work really well. I'm going to use the mini ones. So at first, the first leaf, I'm not going to put dimensionals on. I'm just going to put some of the Stampin' Seal just on the top parts of this one. just these top 3. And I'm going to move it over just a little bit. I don't want to cover up my my season of thanks. So I want to make sure that, and then you've got your sheaves of wheat going up above the leaf. I'm going to bring in this one, kind of do the same thing on this Cajun Craze leaf. Kind of do it over to the side just a little bit, like so. Do the same thing on, let's see, 2 of those. Going to be these 2 here. I don't want the dimensionals to show through my window on the other side. That's why I'm only putting it at the top part here. Okay. I think I need, well, maybe one more. I'll stick one more kind of underneath where it won't show. There we go. And then this final one will go right about here. So, and again, I need one here, here, and yeah, we'll see, here and here, and then we'll see. Let me look at that again. Okay, these 2 here. So, there we go. Now I need a glue dot for my ribbon. Going to go right there. I'm going to open up the inside so you can see my leaves, but you cannot see my dimensional pieces, which is what I want. Now, as the finishing touch, I'm going to bring in some beautiful gold gilded gems and bring my Take Your Pick tool. I'm not going to use the biggest one because I thought it was just a little too big for this card, but I am going to use 3. Odd numbers or 3s are a really good rule of thumb when you're doing embellishments. Do one about there, and then 2 of the smallest ones. And one more about so. So now you have your finished window card with the Gather Together stamp set. And I hope you've enjoyed my video. Please be sure to place any orders with the demonstrator who has invited you to the Global Share Fair group. And I hope I will see you this Saturday, which is when we're going to be doing another one. So thank you very much for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye.